Hi guys, welcome back to part 3. Alright, so in part 1 where we labeled all of our stuff, we basically said, you see this is part 5, number 5, number 6. So we labeled all these parts and we put 2 labels on the conductor and cut in between. So I can easily go to the conductor and see, okay, so this here, on this loom, that is the headlight, what do you call it, plug. And looking at it, I can see that due to the earth conductor connector wire, this is on the passenger side, close to the passenger side. So I can see yellow on that. It's coming to number 8. So using the connectors like that, I was able to drop this list, and I could label each one what the number meant. I would actually recommend, guys, this is from my learnings, when you initially labeling your conductors and before you cut, make up your list. So using that list, I was able to mock up my wires. So you can see I've mocked them up and I've put tape on them. So these wires are the driver's side, headlight, spotlights, indicator, and the hooter. Please note there are no earth wires, because on this loom all of the earth wires are combined there. So we'll be doing the same. So you can see that that's the driver's side, here's the passenger side wires. Then we can see this bit wires here, these go to the gearbox. 3 will be for your your speedo, and then 2 for your reverse light. Then I can see the positive coming to the fan, my starter is pushed in there, mocked up. Here's my alternator signal light. I'll just put it on the alternator, and then we can see that there will be for my temperature. The other part of it actually is a loop 14 to 18, or 4 to 18. So you can see over here I've got that. Main harness brown earth comes down to my temp switch negative. Obviously there's 4 pins on your temperature switch, and the other 2 will be from the ECU. So guys, you can see I've got it mocked up, so to run it to respective places will actually be quite easy. So this is just a vehicle harness. I still need to do the ECU harness. So the first steps was just to mock this up, all needs out, and I'll do the same to the ECU harness. And once I get everything mocked up, more or less the route I want it to go, and the best or least visible route, once I figure that out, then I'll put this in, I'll cloth tape it, and unfortunately guys, nothing is connected in this car. As you guys can see, I've got no dashboard, excuse the dirt, so I can't really test much. But obviously if you're doing this, you can then test your wires before you put it in the harness. Sorry, I would recommend that you take your wires like this harness, the passenger harness, take it to your globe, touch the wires on your globe, make sure everything's working before you put in cloth tape. So I'm kind of winging it here. I have to trust myself. And the other thing to be careful of, when you're putting your wires through the piping, please be very careful of your tags that you put on, because it can easily come loose. I was lucky enough, I was quite careful putting it through. I was lucky enough that only one white wire lost its tag, and due to the length, and I know actually when I joined them I used color coded what was in the original harness, because I used a spare harness, so I know the white was the headlight wire. And by actually doing a list like this, I made a tick next to each wire that I found and put in a so-called harness, and I was left with only one. It was number 9. So I had one wire left and one unticked spot, so I knew it was, and it was white. So initially I thought as much it would be a headlight wire, and I came down here and it was driver's side. So it's actually 13, the driver's side headlight. So your checklist will actually help you if you do make a mistake of that nature. So I hope this helps you guys. Yeah, thanks. Okay guys, so now that the main harness is in, what you need to do, or what I'm doing, is I'm separating the wires. As you can see, I've got them in different mini or sub looms, and the reason I'm doing that is I want the wires all run together, so when I go to actually make my sub looms, I will not have any wires crisscrossing. So as you can see, I've basically just taken them out and tried to sort them best as possible. So when I am looming them, when I am wrapping them, sorry, I will not have any issues. So it's a bit tedious, but I think it's a necessary step. Okay guys, so things are looking a bit neater now. So what we've done is we've further split up the wiring and neaten it up. So as you can see here, I've taken up the headlight wiring, the driver's side, headlight, spotlight, indicator and park lights, that's sent through there. The passenger side, same. So we've got the lights, they're split, and at the bottom, as you can see, these here are your light wiring wires that still need to be put into tape. Here I missed out these 2 blue wires which I still need to put into the loom. So this is the rest of the loom. As you can see, it goes into the channel and it's going to come below the front engine mount. So I'll further split the wires. As you can see, these yellow wires, that's going to be the injectors there. This here is going to be my throttle position sensor. That there's my temperature switch, temperature wires. 2 will go to the ECU and 2 will go to the gauge. Here we've got the main earth, and these wires here, sorry, this here is actually your throttle position sensor wires. I mix that, that's throttle position sensor wires there, and that there's your coil pack wires, and the rest are earth wires. So we've actually got a split, and what I've done is I have temporarily mounted the water pipe. As you can see, the temperature sensor is there, so that'll show me more or less where the wires need to go. And from here you just need to start routing the wires the best way possible. Sorry, one extra set of wires that I missed are these here. That's going to go to the gearbox, your speedo and your reverse light. So that's going to be put behind this arm, come around the back and connect up there. And that still needs to be put into cloth tape and made into a loom. And see guys, that's the reason I painted everything black, because the cloth tape will then flow seamlessly with it, and it'll be hard to see black against black. If it was silver, you would easily see where the loom is. So yeah, that's it for now. Thanks. Hi guys, okay, just a quick update. I've done a bit more neatening up on the wiring. As you can see, I've made a loom there that comes from my grommet, goes underneath. It basically it's going to go underneath this front engine mount, which will be cable tie there, and it comes up and then it's going to split. It's hard to see, which is actually a good thing because it's meant to be camouflaged. So it comes around the back here. If you guys can see the loom there, and then it's going to split. There's 4 that are going to go to temp sensor. Then we're going to have 3 that are going to come to the coil, and then we will have 3 that will come to your TPS, and the rest will come to your injectors. It will come via the bottom up around the top. And as for my gearbox, speed and reverse lights, you can see I made in Loom as well. It will come around here, around to the back. So here, as we talking about the power wires, so as all you guys talk about a big 3 upgrade, we're going to do something similar. So the plan is to have your positive wire coming from there. It's going to go around, be hidden underneath. It'll come then to your alternator, your starter, sorry, from your alternator to your starter, and then from your starter it'll be a double connection, your one going to your alternator and one that will go to your distribution. So from here will be a double cable coming back underneath, and it will go to my positive distribution, and from there will be one positive wire coming to my battery. So for my negative, okay, sorry, the reason I'm doing that is the standard wire for your alternator. I'm just trying to find that. It's actually quite a thin wire. It's quite similar to your starter wire. It's actually quite a thin wire, and I am going to be putting a bit of sound, nothing too big, just 115 and 1000 RMS amp in here, so nothing outrageous, but yeah, so I'm just getting it prepped for that. Yeah, so going back, so that's all my positives sorted out, and then as for my negatives, I will be putting one directly to my body, which we have a point here. There's a point here, so this is in stud underneath here. So that will be from my negative to my body, and from there I can have one going down. I was actually thinking about using the same route as my negative and coming up here to my starter bolt, but actually going on the inside of it, somewhere here. So it's difficult to see, but yeah, it'll be there. Normally the guys put it to your gearbox up here. I might just do another one there as well. Cannot have too much, but the whole point of this is actually to keep it stealth. Actually I might just do it here at the back, which actually may be a bit more stealthy. And as for the wire I was talking about from the alternator to the starter, so that's a wire I've cut to length. One wire will go here, it'll be hidden, so it'll go behind the filter, come around there, and it'll come up there. As you can see, I've already done one side, so just to show you guys how it's done, I've got a lug here that will fit onto the alternator, and I am using a crimping tool for that. Guys, please note, okay, let me just get my heat shrink in here. Okay guys, so you can see the heat shrink. After this I will put some insulation tape and then further put the cloth tape on top of that, so very well protected. A quick update on the starter wires and alternator. So the wires are run, as you guys can see a bit of it. So the starter wire, sorry, alternator wire with the alternator signal wire goes up, goes underneath. There's a breather there, you can see that, goes behind the oil filter housing, comes down and underneath. Sorry guys, this here I still need to cable tie up here, but if you look at it on the top, you can see a little bit of it. If I wanted to hide it completely, then I'd have to go underneath the engine, underneath the gearbox on that way, which would give it a much neater look. However, this car is meant to be used, and it's not for show only. So if it was for show only, I could have rerouted it near the gearbox, underneath part of the engine, but then the wires would be exposed, and safety as well, form and function. So guys, yeah, it's not too bad, it can be seen, but yeah, it's not too bad. So please bear in mind that there will be a cover here, up to that point. Only the front of the throttle will be shown out. So yeah, we will have a bit more coverage and some more stuff will get hidden, but for now, not too shabby, not too, yeah, quite happy with that. Hi guys, so today we're busy making our injector plugs. So I bought these from Mr. Turbo, sorry, from Dictator. It actually comes in a, sorry, let me do one here. It actually comes in a pack like this. So you have your pins, you have your casing, and you have your rubber sleeves or your grommets. So the first thing you do is you break off the pin here. There's two, you just wiggle it front and back and it snaps off. Then you get this, you strip your wire. So what I've done is I've measured there, you guys can see I've stripped it. I've put my rubber grommet through. So what you do is you put your wire in there, just twist this, yeah, put your wire in there, and then you crimp this ear over like that. Okay, let's do this again. Sorry guys, I'll do that later. Let's do another one. Okay, round two. Okay, let's make sure you got the crumb properly, and then these two go over the insulation itself. to hold the wire in place. Okay. Then the last thing you do is you take your connector and you just slide this through the ground back. There's the front, and it clicks in. Then you push this through. It's actually quite tight, it needs to be waterproof. Yeah, so that's it. Now you just push this all the way in. Both these lips must be in. And yeah, I'll show you a photo of the finished product. Okay guys, so now we are putting through the cable for the crank position sensor. As you can see, I've drilled one hole here. This is on the driver's side, and I'm going to drill another hole here somewhere. Then I will decide that I will feed it underneath here and bring it down along the radiator, underneath there where the hose goes, and underneath the chassis arm, around underneath the mount to the back bottom bracket there. For this I'm using a step drill bit. It's the first time I'm actually using this. Actually works brilliantly. And I'm using a 20mm grommet, which I bought at Boulders. So as you guys can see, I've drilled one hole and this fits perfectly snug. So let's drill the second hole. Okay guys, so you can see the grommet is in. That grommet is in. I've just made a little cut in here for the cable to go through. And quite by accident I found this piece of PVC piping and this bend that I had lying around, and coincidentally it actually works pretty fine. I'll show you guys this now. Okay, so you can see I've got it joined together, and if I put it up there and down here, as you guys can see, it works actually pretty well. All I need to do is cut a bit of here, I think, or maybe not. Actually works pretty well. So all I'm going to do is just scuff this down and paint it black. My cable is going to run through that. I will also just cable tie this up there onto that to get out of the way, and my cable will be protected. And I've also used a 25mm pipe, so in the future if I need to run any other sensor wires, I'll use this for those as well. Yeah, so let's get that done. Okay guys, as you can see, everything's done. It's basically been a repetition of what I did on the other side, hence I don't really go into detail in it with it. But as you can see, here's a pipe. I put cloth tape on the parts that we're going to make contact with the body, so I don't expect any rattles. Got the first mounting point there, second there, and third there. Okay, so coming to the front, you will see the cable comes underneath here. I'll put cloth tape and neaten it up, and then it comes to the same hole as the bonnet catch cable. And as you can see, I've put this sleeving, braided sleeving on it to help hide it once it's installed. In terms of the clutch cable that's hanging out here, once I install the latch there and get it working smoothly, then I will see where I need to attach it. It'll most probably just be one point somewhere around here. Yeah, so that's it for now, guys. So just an update on the earthing for the car. I'm not going to go through and show you exactly or video everything I'm doing, but just a status update to show you what I have done. So in terms of the earthing, I have connected, as one of my previous videos I've shown you. Let me get down here. Okay. Right here on the block, I've taken my main earth, and there's another small loom as well. This it actually was one of the engine earth wires. I think it was the management, and the other one is here that goes to the sensors for the water temp and the ECU. So that the cable that's running down there actually is this blue cable here. So I've got one earth cable, I've got another one that's here that's running down to the bottom of the gearbox. As you guys can see, that cable there. So there's two earths, and then a third earth I've got down here. So this is a nice size cable. I think it's like 8 more cable that's running. I've actually added that cable that's going into the conduit. Actually, it worked out quite well, because the way I actually made the conduit, it was quite easy to pull it apart and run a new cable. So that will basically be the main earth that goes into the car, and I'll put a distribution point from there, and I will hook it up to the body as well on the inside. So I've got one on the engine, one on the gearbox, one that will go into mount onto the body of the car, and then there's another one that will go from the negative of the battery onto this point, and from here I'll daisy it. It'll come down here and also go to my earth point here. So this is the earth point I've made. This is reinforced down here. I've drilled a hole. As you guys can see, I've cleaned the surrounding paint out with a Dremel tool. I've put a nut and bolt. You guys can actually see that. You guys can see the back of the bolt there. So I'll connect all my earths there. That'll be my main earthing point. So this, the one from the gearbox, the one from inside, plus I've got a couple earth cables from my Loom. All of that will go to the central point, and once that's done, I'll then paint all of this so it will be protected from rust.